Hey, what's going on, everybody? I am back once again with another video. I know I said in my last video that was the last one of the day. That was 3 videos done today. This is going to be my 4th video. I just had to come out here and make a new video just because we got so many NBA news. We actually got news early today for NBA, which is extremely rare. Usually we get all this type of news at like 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 6:30. So some teams feeling pretty nice to us. They gave us all this news like an hour ago within 45 minutes. So we're going to go ahead and touch on the new core that I like because the whole slate has completely changed thanks to 3 teams. So let's get into it. If you guys enjoy these updates, hit the like button, subscribe, follow on Twitter, all that good stuff really helps me out. Leave a comment, and let's get started. So, not going to go through each single player, just going to be touching on the core. So, if you're not aware, the main piece of news that we got is on the 3 teams, starting with the Hawks side. There's no Trae Young today. There is not going to be. They're still without Cam Reddish. They're still without DeAndre Hunter. There's also no Gallinari. So their starting lineup should look something like Kevin Huerter possibly at point guard, Bogdanovich at the shooting guard, probably Solomon Hill at the 3. You can probably go with like Capella is going to be the 5th, and then maybe they go with Tony Snell as their small forward. Who knows? But you would expect Bogdanovich to start. You would expect Capella to start, and I would expect Kevin Huerter to start, whether that be at shooting guard or point guard. They also have Lou Williams, who will get some minutes off the bench, but they probably want to keep him in that bench role. The Pelicans are another team that's super interesting. Not only are they missing all the players that missed yesterday, but they're also without Josh Hart tonight, so their rotation looks even smaller. They're probably going to have to get some new guys in the rotation. Wes Iwundu could definitely start here. He played 20 minutes last night. He's a possible start candidate. You'll see a lot of minutes, some bench minutes for guys like Thornwell. Hasn't played in a while, but he should definitely get in the mix tonight, I would assume. It's probably not a priority or a guy that you want to get to a lot of. The main guys I want to get to on the Pelicans side are definitely going to be Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who's almost a must play at 6,200 for me. Just not they're just missing so many guys, and Josh Hart was a guy you could pivot to, but he's also out. So it's Alexander Walker's my favorite. Second guy is Kyra Lewis. He's only 3,700. He played 32 minutes last night. He shot only 4 of 13, still put up 25 drafting points. There's a chance he starts tonight. Even if he comes off the bench, he should be looking at well over 30 minutes. And then the third guy is going to be Eric Bledsoe. Actually, the third guy is probably James Johnson. The fourth guy is probably Eric Bledsoe. Johnson is looking like another almost a must value play. He's only 3K. He's min price. He's going to get over 30 minutes tonight. Most likely played 28 last night. They just are super thin on body. So you got to like a lot of the Pelicans. You got to like a lot of the Hawks. And the final team you might want to get to quite a bit of is the Warriors. Well, this is just in terms of news that we got. There's no Steph Curry. They've already priced Jordan Poole up. He's already kind of priced to where he kind of should be, 6,100. So he's not as appealing as some of the other plays, but he's still in the mix. I would assume it makes Kelly Oubre look a lot better at 6,500 bucks. Draymond looks a little bit better at 67. But the Warriors are a little bit better on FanDuel minus Kelly Oubre and Draymond on DraftKings. And then you still have some injuries on the Toronto side. They're still without Kyle Lowry, so they're still a team to target, but they're definitely behind a few teams now. So looking at the core, how we're going to try to get this, how do I try to build a lineup tonight? It's going to start with some of the guys I just feel really good about. It'll start with Giannis as a pay-up option. 10,900. We got a ton of value on the slate, which means we're going to be able to pay up for some studs. And I love the spot for Giannis today against the Portland team. He put up 33 in only 26 minutes against them earlier this season, but he's been down a few games, 4 games in a row where he hasn't really crushed. I would assume this is a good spot for him to kind of get back on track against Portland. They play fast. They give up a lot of rebounds. He should be able to dominate the paint here. So Giannis is the first guy I'm going to jam in here. And then looking at some of the value plays, is going to be Nickeil Alexander-Walker is my favorite at 6,200 bucks. You have Kyra Lewis, who's going to get a lot of minutes. He's 37. They're the 2 guards that I really want to get to on the Pelicans side. And the third guy is James Johnson, who is only 3,000. He's just a must play at that price tag on DraftKings. Giannis as my power forward. At center, it's going to be Capella. Just going to get a lot of center minutes tonight. Going to get a lot more, possibly get some more looks at the basket just without Trae Young, even though Young is good at getting him some easy lobs. But hopefully he kind of he has the freedom to shoot a little bit more. He's going to get a lot of rebounds. He's just going to be out there a bunch and possibly get some more usage without all these guys out. And then the final guy is going to be Bogdanovich. He's 5,700 bucks. He looks even better than he did earlier Obviously, without Trae Young and without Gallo, his minutes are going to be through the roof potentially tonight. I mean, I don't know how much they want to push him. He did miss quite a bit of time earlier this season. He played 45 last night, but I would assume even if you're projecting for 30 with all this usage and with all this opportunity, he's just going to look really, really good. He gives you a ton of upside. 57. He's a guy that I feel really good about. So these six are the guys I will start my DK lineup with as of 250. Let's look at FanDuel. It also looks a lot different as you would expect. Looking at the point guard options, you can still go very expensive if you wanted to, but there are a ton of cheap plays that look super appealing. You still have John Morant sitting at 6,800. I think he still looks amazing, but you could look to some better point per dollar plays like uh, do like Teo Maladon. He's probably going to get like no ownership tonight. I think he looks interesting at 5,800 bucks. But you're looking at Bledsoe at 5,200 as a potential guy you just plug in at point guard. I would still like to get to some other cheaper guys that look a little bit better, like Jordan Poole is 4,200 bucks on FanDuel compared to 61 on DraftKings, so he looks tremendously more appealing on FanDuel. Kyra Lewis, 4,100 bucks. I think you could even make an argument to play him over Bledsoe if you wanted to. But both Bledsoe and him look appealing. Kyra Lewis might get lower ownership if he comes off the bench, but his minutes should be over 30 tonight. He's a guy that will take a lot of usage and take some shots tonight, so he's a guy that I like. And those are the main two that I'm looking at. Those are the two 4K options, and the 5K option is Eric Bledsoe, and then also Teo Maladon. The 6K options are John Morant. I will go with Kyra Lewis for now. I mean, between him and Jordan Poole, I think Poole will get so much ownership. You could look to Kyra Lewis just because he might get a little bit overlooked if people just plug in Jordan Poole instead. At shooting guard, I mean, it's gonna have to be Kyra Lewis, his teammate, Nikhil Alexander-Walker. He's only 5,800 bucks. Gonna just log huge minutes. Played very well last night. He kind of cost them the game at the end, but they would not have been in the game without him. He missed a free throw and then he missed a layup, but he still had an all-around amazing performance. It going into overtime helped him. He had a great fourth quarter, so he looks like a guy that you're going to want to start your lineup with on FanDuel and DraftKings. There's no Josh Hart tonight, so looking at some other guys like Kevin Huerter at 5K, you can look to Graham at 6K. He will get some more minutes without Monk tonight. Those are the two that I think you can look to elsewhere. Maybe Lou Williams if you want it to be different. And then you still have Sweet Mikhailuk at 37 as another cheap play. At small forward, it's going to be Bogdanovic. 55, I just have so much confidence in him. Just without Trae Young, he'll probably play some point guard. He can play some off ball. Just a great spot against the Pelicans. Should be a fast-paced game. Should be high scoring. Both teams coming in on a back-to-back. Both teams are also coming off of overtime back-to-backs. The Hawks game went into double overtime, so we could see some tired legs here. But just there's a lot of opportunity with all these guys out, so I will have to hope that they're still playing aggressive out there and still have something left in the tank. Gordon Hayward looks appealing at 7K. You still have like cheap plays in the 4K range, like uh, maybe Kenrich Williams will get some minutes. But 3K range, it's like Patrick Williams if you wanted to go that cheap. 6K range, you have Kelly Oubre, maybe Kevin Porter. Those guys look appealing. Power forward, it's going to be a spot where I just get up to Giannis, I think, on both sides. Just there's so much value on the slate. You're going to have to pay up for a stud. And power forward is probably the position where you can go expensive just because there are not a ton of cheap plays here besides like James Johnson is I think his min price on FanDuel too at 35. So he's a guy that looks really appealing. But other than him, there's a lot of expensive guys that look appealing. So I'll probably pay up here at power forward for at least one of the spots. And Giannis definitely fits that bill. And then center, it's going to be Capella. I mean, he looks even better than he did earlier, I would assume. Maybe some people say that it hurts him without having Trae Young, but just going to have, without Gallo, there's just more rebounds. His minutes should be very secure, like 30, 35. Should get a double-double, gets you some block shots as well. Especially against this Pelicans team, very young, with Kyra Lewis and Nikhil Alexander-Walker probably running the show tonight. Could get some turnovers. They both, at least Walker does drive to the basket, so he gets some block shots, maybe from Capella. 78 is just a little bit too cheap for me not to like him. And that's it. That's the updates. Thank you guys for watching. Best of luck. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, slap a like before you head out. And good luck today.